Almost everything you have been told about GMV Max is wrong, not slightly wrong, wrong in ways that are costing you real money every single day. So your rep is wrong about when to use max delivery. Your agency is wrong about how to scale target ROI campaigns. The gurus on this platform are wrong about creative depth, kill rules, and what actually drives spend in the system. I'm going to show you all of it, every mistake, with the mechanics behind why it is a mistake and what the actual move is instead. So, brands, listen to this. I am Hamza. Since 2024, I have generated millions in GMV across multiple brands. I manage TikTok shops for brands doing over seven figures in monthly revenue. So, I'm not a guru, I'm an operator, and everything I share in this video comes from a real experience, not theory. So, these are the strategies that actually work in live accounts and the mistakes that actually burn ad budgets. By the end of this video, you are going to know more about GMV Max than the people running your ads. So that's the promise. Let's go. Okay, so here is where every brand starts losing money. They don't realize GMV Max is not one thing. It's two completely different things wearing the same name. You have got target ROI mode and you have got max delivery mode. And these are not just two settings on the same dial. They are fundamentally different machines. They optimize for different outcomes and they behave differently in the auction. They scale differently, they fail differently. And if you don't know which one you are running, or worse, you think they do the same thing just with different knobs, you are going to burn through ad budget and have no idea why. So before we touch a single button, you have to get this part right. Look at this. Target ROI on the left, max delivery is on the right. So target ROI's job to protect your efficiency, that's it. That's its whole personality. It's like a really cautious accountant. It only spends your money when it is pretty sure it can hit the ROI you told to hit. If it cannot, it just doesn't spend. It sits out the auction and it waits. Max delivery is opposite. Max delivery's job to spend the budget. That's its personality. It is like a salesperson on commission. It wants volume, it wants GMV, it wants orders moving. It will still try to do it profitably, but profitability is not the priority. Spend is the priority. So, two completely different machines. Let me put it in plain language. Target ROI, when it sees an auction, asks itself one question. Can I hit the ROI target on this auction? If the answer is yes, it bids. If the answer is no, it skips. How much budget you have loaded into the campaign. Doesn't matter how much you want to spend that way. If the math doesn't pencil out, target ROI just sits there. This is why so many brands run target ROI campaigns and then panic because the budget is not moving. So they go, why isn't this thing spending? I set the budget to $500 a day. And the answer is because you also told it to hit a 3x return. And TikTok is looking at the auctions available and going, nah, none of these are going to hit 3x. I'm out. So budget doesn't force spend, permission does. Remember that line. It is gonna come back later. Max delivery is a completely different conversation. Max delivery sees an auction and asks, how much can I spend on this profitably enough? Notice the word profitably enough, not profitably to a specific number, just enough. So Max Delivery is going to participate in way more auctions. It is going to bid on broader inventory. It is going to chase volume. And because it is not protecting a specific ROI, your actual returns are going to fluctuate. Some days you will see 3x, some days you will see 1.5x. Average it out. Hopefully you are profitable. But it is a more aggressive, more volatile machine. This is the engine you turn on when you want to scale. But, and this is the part nobody tells you, only when other things are already working. We will get to that. Okay, so here is the part where I get a little angry. Most brands running GMV Max have no idea this is even a choice they are making. They get on a call with their TikTok rep. The rep says, let's turn on GMV Max. They click some buttons and now they are running max delivery on a product that is not ready with creatives that don't work, and the spend is just going and burning. And nobody on the call is asking the actual question, which is, should we be in max delivery mode right now or should we be in target ROI? That's the question. That's the entire question for the first 30 days of any GMV Max strategy. Here is how the first trap plays out. Brand turns on max delivery because their rep on their agency told them to. Spend ramps up fast, which feels good at first, like, oh wow, we are spending 2,000 a day. So this is real. And then by week two, the ROI just collapses because Max Levy doesn't care about your ROI the way you do. It cared about spending the budget and it did its job. You are the one who didn't tell it the right job. So I have seen this exact pattern. I'm not gonna name the brand, but a skincare brand I was advising, they were doing fine on target ROI, around 2.5x return, spending about $800 a day. Their rep convinced them to switch to max delivery to scale. Within 9 days, they were at $4,000 a day spend and their ROI was 1.1. So they were basically breaking even on every dollar and they thought the platform was broken. The platform was not broken. They put the wrong machine in charge of the wrong job. Okay, so then there is the opposite trap, which is just as bad. Brand reads some random thread on Twitter that says target ROI is the safer mode. So they set up a campaign with like 4x ROI target, reasonable budget, decent creative. They hit go, and then nothing happens. Campaign barely spends maybe $50 a day on a $500 budget, and the brand goes, the algorithm hates us. No, the algorithm is doing exactly what you told it to. You said don't spend unless you can hit 4x. The algorithm looked at the available inventory and went, I cannot hit 4x on any of these, so I'm not spending. That's not the algorithm being broken. That's the algorithm being obedient. So the brand thinks they are being smart by setting a high ROI target. They are actually just locking themselves out of the auction. We are going to talk about how to fix this in chapter 4. So, because it's literally just one knob you turn. Look, here is the thing I want you to internalize before we go any further. Neither of these modes is better than the other. Target ROI is not safer, max delivery is not smarter. They are tools. They are literally just tools. And like any tool, they are either the right one for the job or the wrong one. The brands that win on GME Max are the brands that know which mode to be in based on what's happening with their product, their creative, and their offer at that moment. And they switch. They don't pick a mode and stick with it forever. They move between modes as the campaign evolves. That's the entire game. That's like 80% of GME Max strategy right there, knowing which mode and when. So here is what we are going to cover in this whole video. By the end of this, you are going to know when to use each mode and why, how to actually scale a GMV Max campaign without blowing up your ROI, what to kill, when to kill it, and how to know the difference between a creative that is dying and a creative that is just having a slow day, and why creative beats every single other lever, including budget and especially targeting. Because here is the spoiler, and I'm just gonna give it to you now. Creative is the targeting on TikTok. The audience targeting on TikTok Shop is so weak compared to other platforms. Your creative is doing 90% of the targeting work. Your ad finds your audience, not the other way around. So, once you understand that, GME Max stops being mysterious. It becomes a creative problem with an ROI knob attached to it. Okay, chapter 2, the scaling hierarchy. Why budget is the last lever you should ever touch. This is the chapter where I'm gonna tell you something that contradicts almost every other piece of TikTok shop advice you have heard. And I know it's gonna sound wrong at first, so just stay with me. Here is how most brands scale on TikTok shop. Step 1, budget. Step 2, more budget. Step 3, why is the ROI dropping? Let's add more budget. That's literally the strategy. They treat budget like it's a magic knob that creates more sales. You spin it up, more sales come out, right? Wrong. Budget is not a growth lever. Budget is permission to spend. That's all it is. And if the things underneath your budget are not working, all you are doing by adding budget is giving the algorithm permission to lose your money faster. You are not scaling. So I see this constantly. Brand has a campaign doing $300 a day at 2x ROI. They go, let's scale this, bump the budget to $1,500. 2 weeks later, they are at $1,500 a day. ROI is 1.1, and they are going, the algorithm is broken. The algorithm is not broken. The algorithm did exactly what you asked. You asked it to spend 5 times more money. It did. You didn't ask it to do that profitably because you cannot ask it to. Budget doesn't carry profitability instructions. Okay, so here is the actual scaling hierarchy. 5 layers. And the order matters. Like the order really, really matters. Layer 1 is product market fit. Does anyone actually want your product? Layer 2 is creative market fit. Do the ads you are running connect with people who want the product? Layer 3 is creative depth. How many variations of those winning ads do you have? Layer 4 is offer economics. Does the math of your offer actually allow for profitable scaling? And layer 5, all the way at the bottom of the list, layer 5 is budget. Budget is the last lever, it is the amplifier. It is the thing you turn up after every other layer is locked. Most brands try to scale by jumping straight to layer 5. They skip 1, 2, 3, and 4 entirely, and they wonder why nothing works. It is like trying to make a car go faster by pouring more gas in the tank when the engine is not even running. Like, more gas is not the problem. The engine is the problem. Fix the engine first. So, layer 1, product market fit. Without this, nothing scales. Doesn't matter how good your ads are. Doesn't matter how big your budget is. Doesn't matter how charming your creator is. If the product doesn't have demand, you cannot create demand at scale through ads on TikTok Shop. It just doesn't happen. And I know what some of you are thinking. You are like, but TikTok creates demand all the time. That's the whole thing about TikTok Shop. Yeah, kind of. But TikTok amplifies latent demand. It surfaces product people didn't know they wanted, but recognize when they see them. It doesn't create demand for products people fundamentally don't need or would not return for. If your reorder rate is bad, if your reviews are bad, if your product is mediocre, no ad strategy fixes that. So you cannot pour every dollar in the world into GMV Max and you will get worse and worse efficiency over time because the product is the bottleneck, not the ads. Fix the product first. The brands that win on TikTok Shop almost without exception are brands whose product was already getting positive organic mentions before they ever turned on ads. That's the signal. If your product cannot even generate one organic viral video, you don't have a creative problem, you have a product problem. Layer 2, creative market fit. This is the actual scaling engine. This is what TikTok is rewarding. Here is the thing about creative market fit. It is not about whether your ad is good. It is about whether your ad communicates the right thing to the right person in the right emotional register. That's three things: right thing, right person, right register. You can have a beautifully shot ad that says all the right things about your product. And if it doesn't have emotion, TikTok will not scale it because TikTok's whole platform is built on emotional engagement. Watch time, comments, shares, saves, all of those signals are emotional signals, not informational signals. People don't comment on ads that gave them information. They comment on ads that made them feel something. So when you are building creative for GMV Max, the question isn't, did I include all the product features? The question is, what emotion is this ad making someone feel? And if you cannot answer that question in one word, the ad probably would not scale. One word: fear, curiosity, relief, embarrassment, desire. That's the bar. Layer 3, creative depth. This is the layer most people miss entirely. So let's say you found a winner. Great. You have got one ad that is converting. Two of you are thinking, perfect, let's scale this. Do not, not yet. Because here is what is about to happen to that winning ad. It's going to fatigue. Not maybe, not eventually, definitely. Every single winning creative on TikTok fatigues. The only question is how fast. So, creative depth means how many variations of that winning angle do you have ready to go? And I don't mean different angles, I mean variations on the same winning angle, different hooks, different creators delivering the same message, different edits, different opening shots, different pacing, same core psychology. Because what TikTok reward is not just this ad works. TikTok rewards this brand has a whole library of ads that work, that signal to the algorithm that you have scalable inventory. And scalable inventory is the entire game. Without creative depth, your scaling ceiling is whatever your one winning creative can produce before it dies. With creative depth, your ceiling is way, way higher. The best operators I know are not better at making one viral ad. They are better at making 15 variations of one ad that worked fast. That's the skill. Layer 4, offer economics. The math has to work before scale matters. This one is pretty simple, but most brands skip it. Before you scale, the unit economics have to allow scaling. Average order value. What is the typical basket size? Margins. What do you actually make per unit after platform fees, affiliate commissions, shipping, and product cost? Bundle structure. Can you raise average order value through bundles or upsell inside the shop? Because here is the thing, as you scale on GMV Max, ROI goes down. That's normal. We are going to talk about that in chapter 4 in detail. But your ROI at $200 a day is going to be higher than your ROI at $2,000 a day, always. So you need to know before you scale at what ROI do you stop being profitable? What's the floor? If your margins are tight and your AOV is low, your floor is high. You cannot drop ROI much before you are losing money. If your margins are healthy and your average order value is solid, your floor is lower. You can scale further. Different brands have totally different ceilings based on this math. Two brands with identical ad performance can have completely different outcomes because one has 70% margins and a $40 AOV, and the other has 30% margins and a $15 AOV. Same ads, different worlds. So know your numbers before you spend the budget. Otherwise, you are just guessing. Layer 5, budget, the amplifier. Once you have product market fit, creative depth, and your offer economics are clean, now budget starts to matter. Because now budget does what budget is supposed to do, which is amplify. Budget takes a working system and runs more of it. That's it. If it doesn't work at $100 a day, it is not going to work at $1,000 a day. Hear me out. The system that breaks at $100 is going to break harder at $1,000. You don't fix broken with budget. You make broken louder with budget. So before you ever ask the question, should I scale this? Ask, is this working at the current span? If yes, you have permission to scale. If no, you have permission to fix what is broken first and then scale. There is no shortcut. The order is the order. Okay, so I want you to take this one and like write it down or whatever. The biggest, most expensive mistake I see on TikTok Shop is scaling budget before scaling creatives. Let me say that again because it is that important. Scaling budget before scaling creatives. What this look like in practice is a brand finds one creative that works, the ROI looks great, and they immediately spike the budget because they think the creative is the ceiling. They think this ad is doing 4x. Let's just put up more money behind it. And then within a week, the creative fatigues, ROI collapses, and they are stuck spending big money on a dying ad. The right move would have been take that winning creative, immediately produce 8 to 10 variations of it, then scale the budget because now when one variation fatigues, the others are still working. The scaling is supported by depth, not held up by one ad. So creative depth first, then budget, always in that order. Here is the formula. Your scaling ceiling on GMV Max is creative quality times ROI flexibility. So that's the entire equation. Not budget, not targeting, not bidding, not which TikTok rep you have, not what time you launched the campaign. Creative quality, meaning how good are your winning ads and how many variations do you have. ROI flexibility, meaning how much can you afford to let your ROI come down as you scale based on your offer economics. Multiply these together, that's your seeding. That's the maximum revenue you can pull out of GMV Max with your current setup. If you want a higher seeding, you either need better creatives, more creative depth, or better offer economics. Budget is not in this equation. Budget is the gas pedal, not the engine. So most brands are trying to drive faster by pressing the gas pedal harder when their engine is the bottleneck. The engine is the creative, always the creative. Okay, chapter 3. This is the one. Creative is the real targeting. This is a chapter where if you have been running meta ads for the last 5 years, I'm going to tell you to forget almost everything you learned because TikTok doesn't work like meta. The targeting mental model from Meta is the thing that is costing most paid advertisers money on TikTok Shop. Like the exact thing you are good at on Meta is the thing that is holding you back here. So let's break this down properly. Meta works like this. You tell the platform who you want to reach. You go into Ads Manager, you stack interests, you build lookalikes, you set up age ranges, behaviors, custom audiences. You spend a ton of time crafting the audience. And then Meta goes out and finds those people in its index and shows them your ad. That's the Meta mental model. You define the who, Meta finds the who, your ad does the selling. The targeting and the creatives are two separate jobs. You can have a mediocre ad and still get results if your targeting is sharp, or you can have a great ad because your audience targeting was wrong. This is what people mean when they say Meta is an audience platform. The platform's value is in its audience graph. You are paying for access to that graph. TikTok doesn't work like this at all. On TikTok, you make the creative. The creative finds the audience. That's the entire model. You don't tell TikTok, show this to women age 25 to 34 interested in skincare. I mean, you can, but those settings are doing almost nothing compared to what the creative itself is doing. The creative is the targeting. Let me explain what I mean by that. When you upload a TikTok video, the algorithm processes it. It looks at the visual elements, the audio, the captions, the pacing, the hook, the kind of person on screen, the way they are talking, the product they are holding. And from all of that, the algorithm builds a profile of who this ad is going to resonate with. Then it shows the ad to a small test audience, watches how they respond, refines the profile, and pushes out from there. So you are not targeting an audience, you are making an ad that describes an audience. And the platform reverse engineers the audience from the ad. This is why two ads selling the exact same product can find completely different audiences on TikTok. Because they are different ads, they describe different audiences. Same product, different creative, different audience. The creative is the targeting here. Okay, so now we know creative is targeting. The next question is what kind of creative actually works? And the answer is consistent across pretty much every wing brand I have worked with. Emotional beats informational almost every time. Informational ad sounds like this. Our serum contains hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, and vitamin C, scientifically proven to reduce fine lines by up to 40%. That's an informational ad. It is giving you facts, it's educating you, and it doesn't work on TikTok Shop like it really does not. It might convert if someone is already in the market, but it doesn't scale because it doesn't produce emotional engagement. So emotional ads sound like this. I cannot believe I wasted 3 years thinking my skin was just bad. I cried in the bathroom last night because for the first time in my adult life, I looked in the mirror and didn't want to hide. Same product, completely different ad. One is telling you about hyaluronic acid. The other is making you feel seen. Which one is going to get watched all the way through? Which one is going to get shared? Which one is going to make something tag their friend in the comments? It is not even close. So TikTok is an emotional platform. The signals it is optimizing for watch time, comments, shares, saves are emotional signals. People share things that made them feel something. They don't share infographics. So if your ad is informational, you are playing the wrong game on the wrong field. The other thing TikTok rewards, and this one is hard for brands to swallow, is content that feels raw, personal, reactive, conversational, and imperfect. Overproduced ads die on TikTok Shop. They just die. You can spend $5,000 on beautifully shot, cinematically lit, perfectly edited ad. You upload it to GMV Max, it runs for 3 days, nothing, zero traction. Meanwhile, some creator film a 30-second video on their iPhone in their bathroom mirror at like 11 p.m. No makeup, talking to camera like they are FaceTiming their best friend. That one does six-figure in revenue. This is not me being romantic about authenticity. This is just how the platform works mechanically. TikTok users are scrolling at high speed. The thing that interrupts their scroll is something that feels like a friend, not something that feels like an ad. The moment a user clocks as an ad, scroll, gone. You lost them. The job of the creative is to not register as an ad for the first 2 to 3 seconds. That's actually the job. So when brands say to me, we want to maintain our brand standards on TikTok, I tell them, your brand standards are costing you money on this platform. The standard that work here is native, raw, personal, not polished, not branded, not own message. Save the brand standard for the website. Here is the test I use for every single video before it goes live, the one word test. What emotion is this ad making someone feel? You have to be able to answer that question in one word, just one. If you cannot, the ad would not scale. Example, fear, as in you have been doing this wrong your whole life. Curiosity, as in wait, why does she keep doing it that way? Relief, as in finally something that actually worked. Embarrassment, as in you have been wearing this wrong and everyone notices. Desire, as in I need this in my life right now. Identity, as in this is for people like me. Transformation, as in I cannot believe this is the same person. So one word, that's the test. If your ad is trying to do 5 things at once, no single emotion lands hard enough to break the scroll. The ads that scale on TikTok Shop are ads that hit one emotional note and hit it hard, not 5 notes softly, one note loud. And when you are scripting an ad with a creator, the first question you should ask them isn't what should we say about the product? The first question is what emotions are we going for? Pick the emotion first, script the ad around the emotion, not the other way around. Okay, so let's circle back to something from chapter 2, creative depth. I want to drive this home with a visual you can hold in your head. Imagine you have one winning creative, just one. You are running it on GMV Max. It's doing 3x ROI and you are spending $300 a day. Your seeding is whatever that one ad can produce before it fatigues. Maybe 2 weeks of solid performance, maybe a month if you're lucky. Then it dies. And when it dies, your account goes with it. Now imagine you have 10 variations of that winning angle. Same product, same emotional hook, 10 different executions. Different creators, different intro shots, different pacing, different captions. When one fatigues, you have got 9 more in rotation. When 2 die, you make 3 new ones. Your seating just got way higher because you have inventory. Same product, same budget, same audience, different seating. The only difference is creative depth. This is why the best operators on TikTok Shop look like they are doing magic. They are not doing magic. They are producing creative at a volume most brands cannot match. They have got 10 creators rotating. They are putting out 50 ads a month, and 47 of them flop. But 3 of them hit, and they hit at a scale that pays for everything else. The math of creative depth is brutal. Most ads fail. The point of depth is having enough ads in the system that the winners can carry the losers. Here is the mistake that comes after this. Brand here. You need more creative, and they think it means we need more different angles. No, that's not what it means. When you have a winning angle, the move is to exploit that angle deeply, not to search for new angles, different concept. Let me explain. Let's say you found an angle that works. The angle is I was embarrassed about my skin until I tried this. That's the emotional hook. It's working. The wrong move is to go, okay, let's try a different angle now. What about a science angle? What about a confidence angle? What about a routine angle? That's spreading thin. The right move is to make 15 versions of the same embarrassment angle, same emotion, different surface. One version with a girl in her car, one version with a guy in his bedroom, one version that opens with a close up of skin, one version that opens with a flashback, one version that is 50 second, one that is 45 second. Same core psychology, different execution. Because the algorithm doesn't fatigue on the angle, it fatigues on the specific ad. So if you have 10 versions of the same angle, you can run them in rotation for months and they all keep performing. New angles require new audience discovery, which costs you the testing budget. New execution of an existing angle, the audience is already validated. You are just refreshing the signal. Exploit before you explore, always. Okay, I want to leave you with 3 questions to ask before you launch any creative on GMV Max. 3. If the answer to any of these is no, doesn't launch the ad, save the budget. 1. Does it stop the scroll in 2 seconds? Why the first 2 seconds with the sound off? If your visual doesn't grab attention on its own, the ad is going to die. The audio reinforces, but the visual stops the scroll. We covered this in the hook test video. Same principle applies here too. 2. Does it make someone feel something? The one word test. Can you name the emotion in one word? If not, the ad is too scattered. The video is too scattered. Pick the emotion, build the ad around it. 3. Could it scale to 10 variations? Could you take this exact angle and produce 10 more versions of it without losing the core psychology? If the answer is no, you have made a one-off ad, not a scalable ad. One-off ads can win, but they don't build accounts. 3 questions. Stop the scroll, make them feel, scale to 10. If you are getting yes to all 3, launch. If you are getting no to anyone, fix it before you spend $1. Okay, chapter 4, the ROI ladder. How to actually scale a target ROI campaign. This is the most technical chapter of the entire video. We are getting into the buttons and the numbers. If you have been sitting through chapters 1, 2, and 3 going, so okay, great, but what do I actually do? This is the chapter, so pay attention. Before we touch any buttons, I need you to internalize one principle. And I told you in the chapter 1, this line was going to come back. And here it is. Budget doesn't force spend. ROI target gives permission to spend. Read it twice, read it 3 times. Because this one line is the entire chapter. Almost every scaling problem I see brands have on GMV Max is because they don't understand this distinction. They think budget is the throttle. It is not. Budget is the seeding. ROI target is the throttle. If your ROI target is set tight and TikTok doesn't think it can hit that target in the available auctions, your budget can be $1 million a day and the algorithm will spend $200 of it because the algorithm is not allowed to spend in auctions it doesn't think it can win profitably. You gave it to the budget, but you did not give it the permission. So when people ask me, how do I scale my GMV Max campaign? 90% of the time, the answer is not raise the budget. The answer is loosen the ROI target so the budget can actually deploy. Different question, so different answers. Here is how to think about it, the ROI ladder. Very high ROI target, restrictive delivery. The algorithm becomes super picky. It is only bidding on the most efficient auctions. Spend stays low, ROI stays high, but you cannot scale. You are stuck. Moderate ROI target, balanced delivery. The algorithm bids on a broader set of auctions. Spends goes up, ROI comes down a little, but you are getting more volume. This is where most accounts live in their healthy zone. Low, lower ROI target, aggressive delivery. The algorithm enters way more auctions. Spend ramps fast, ROI comes down further, but total GMV goes up. This is the scaling zone. This is where you go when you have creative depth and good offer economics and you are ready to push. So the ladder is more efficiency on top, more volume on the bottom. And you climb up or down based on what you need. Need more profit margin? Climb up. Need more total revenue? Climb down. The ladder is bidirectional. You are moving on it constantly based on what the business needs that week. So here is the most common pattern I see, and once I describe it, you are going to realize you have either done this or your agency has done this to you. Campaign is profitable, like the ROI is good, 2.5x, maybe 3x, whatever. But the campaign is barely spending. Budget is set to $1,000 a day. Actual spend is like $250. And the brand is going, what's going on? Why would not they scale? They are refreshing the dashboard, they are emailing their rep, they are convinced something is broken. Nothing is broken. The ROI target is too tight. TikTok looked at the auctions available and went, I can win some of these profitably. Those I will bid on. The rest, I cannot hit the target the brand told me to hit, so I will skip. That's literally what's happening. The algorithm is being obedient. The brand told it to hit 3x. The algorithm is hitting 3x. The brand also wanted volume, but they didn't tell the algorithm that volume mattered. They told it efficiency mattered. So efficiency is what they are getting. The algorithm is doing exactly what it was instructed to do. So the fix is not more budget, the fix is permission. So here is the fix. Lower the ROI target gradually, not aggressively. Gradually. The pattern looks like this. 2 point down to 1.8 and then wait. See what happens. Then 1.8 down to 1.6, then wait. See what happens. Then 1.6 down to 1.4 if you need to keep scaling. 10 to 15% at a time maximum, never more. And I will tell you why in a second. What's happening when you lower the ROI target is you are telling the algorithm, I am willing to accept slightly less efficiency in exchange for more volume. And the algorithm goes, okay, now I can bid on these other auctions that I was skipping before spend starts to flow. So volume picks up, ROI comes down a touch, but total GMV goes up. This is the move. This is the actual scaling move, not budget permission. And the reason you do it in small step is every change you make destabilize the algorithm's learning a little. Small changes, the algorithm adjusts smoothly. Big changes, the algorithm freaks out, which brings us to the next slide. Why drastic ROI changes destroy campaigns? Three reasons. One, they destabilize learning. The algorithm has been optimizing towards your target for days or weeks. It has built up a model of what works, what auctions to bid on, what user to chase. When you suddenly change the target by a lot, like 3.0 down to 1.5 in one move, the entire learning model becomes irrelevant. The algorithm has to start over. You just torched all the learning you paid for. Two, they shift traffic quality suddenly. Going from 3.0 target to 1.5 target is not a gradual broadening. It is a cliff. You went from chasing only high intent users to chasing very broad inventory in one step. Your conversion quality drops fast. The user behavior on your ads changes. Your CVR can collapse overnight. Three, they distort optimization signals. The algorithms use conversion data to refine. If you change the rules dramatically in the middle of learning, the algorithm doesn't know if the data it's getting reflects the new strategy or the old one. The signals get muddied. Performance suffers for long than it needs to. So the rule is 10 to 15% changes only. 2.0 to 1.7, fine. 2.0 to 1.0, you just blew up your account. So don't do it. The other rule that pairs with this, after any ROI change, wait 24 to 48 hours before you do anything else. Anything. Don't touch the campaign. Don't add budget. Don't tweak the ROI again. Don't kill creatives. Don't add creatives. Leave it alone. The reason is TikTok needs time to absorb the change. It has to reallocate spend. It has to restabilize learning. And it has to find the new auction it is now allowed to bid on. All of that takes time, usually a full day, sometimes two. So if you change the ROI target, see weird performance in the first 6 hours and panic change it back, you have just done two destabilizing actions instead of one. Now the algorithm is completely lost. It doesn't know what you want. It can optimize toward a moving target. So I see this constantly. Brands lower ROI target in the morning. Spend looks weird at lunch. They reverse the change. By the end of day, they have done three more edits. The campaign performance for the next week is just chaos because every learning cycle gets interrupted before it can finish. Constant edits equal constant chaos. Change one thing, wait, observe, then decide what's next. Patience is tactic on this platform. Okay, so let's get really practical. Three scenarios. These are the three situations you will be in 90% of time when a target ROI campaign. So each has a different correct move. Scenario one, campaign is spending well, ROI is healthy, so you are hitting target, budget is deploying, everything is working. The move here is Increase budget slowly, like 20% bumps. Keep the ROI target the same. You are already in a good zone. You just want more of it. Don't touch the ROI target if you don't need to. Scenario 2. Campaign is profitable but under delivering. This is the one we just walked through. ROI is good, but spend is low. The move is lower the ROI target gradually, 10 to 15%. Then wait 24 to 48 hours, see what happens. This is the most common move you will make on target ROI campaigns. Like 60% of the scaling moves you make are going to be this one. Scenario 3. Campaign is spending aggressively, but ROI is weak. So spend is flowing, but you are losing money or barely breaking even. You have three choices here, and you need to figure out which one. Raise the ROI target, which tightens the algorithm back up and forces more efficiency. Reduce the budget, which caps the bleeding while you figure things out, or fix the creatives, which is usually the actual problem. Most of the time, scenarios 3 is a creative problem dressed up as an ROI problem. The ads stopped working, but the algorithm is still deploying spend against them. You have got to kill the losers before more ROI changes will help. Three scenarios, three different moves. Diagnose first, then act. If you remember nothing else from this chapter, remember this. Budget equals ceiling. ROI target equals permission. So budget is the maximum amount TikTok is allowed to spend. ROI target is the rule TikTok has to follow while spending. Two different functions, two different jobs. If you want to grow the seeding, raise the budget. If you want TikTok to use more of the seeding, lower the ROI target. Both levers exist. They do different things. Most brands only know how to pull one of them, the budget one, and they wonder why nothing happens. You have two levers, use them in the right order. Permission first, then seeding. Loosen the ROI target so the budget can deploy. Then raise the budget once you see the deployment is healthy. So permission before seeding always. Last thing for this chapter, I want to address a fear that most brands have, which is the fear of their ROI going down as they scale. I want you to make peace with this right now. Look at this. Before, ROI is 3.0. You are spending $1,000 a day. You are generating $3,000 in GMV. Margin is healthy, looks great in screenshots. After scaling, ROI is 2.0. You are spending $3,000 a day. You are generating $6,000 in GMV. Which one is better for the business? Most brands look at this and say the first one, the ROI is higher. Wrong, 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 wrong. The second scenario is generating $3,000 more in GMV every day. So even at the lower ROI, the absolute profit is higher, way higher. You double the business by accepting a 33% drop in ROI. So this is the trade. This is the scaling trade. You give up some efficiency, you gain a lot of volume. As long as the math is positive, you are winning. Stop optimizing for vanity ROI screenshots. Optimize for total contribution margin, total profit, total GMV, and sustainable economics. The brands that screenshot their 5x ROI to LinkedIn are usually the smallest brands. The brands quietly running 1.8 ROI at high volume are doing the real numbers. Chapter 5, Max Delivery Mechanics. When to switch, how to control it, and probably, more importantly, when not to use it. Most operators I talk to have a kind of weird relationship with Max Delivery. They are either terrified of it, like it's gonna blow up their account if they look at it wrong, or they are way too eager to use it, like it's a magic scaling button. Both takes are wrong. Max Delivery is just a tool. It's a different tool than Target ROI with different rules and different use cases. Once you understand the rules, it is not scary. But if you use it without knowing the rules, it absolutely will blow up your account. So let's get into it. First thing I want to say, Max Delivery is not the enemy. I see operators online treating it like a four-letter word. Do not ever turn on Max Delivery, it kills accounts. That's not true. Max Delivery doesn't kill accounts. Operator using Max Delivery wrong kill accounts. So it's a tool with different rules than target ROI, and the people who say never use it are usually people who tried to use it without understanding it, got hurt, and now they are telling everyone else to avoid it. That's not strategy. So we are not doing that here. The brands that actually do big numbers on TikTok Shop, like real numbers, eight figures and up, almost all of them are using Max Delivery for at least part of their scaling. Because at a certain point, target ROI cannot get you the volume you need. Max delivery is the engine that breaks past that ceiling. So you just have to know when to turn it on and how to control it once it's running. Quick refreshers on what max delivery actually does. Three things. One, it spends the budget aggressively. We talked about how target ROI is the cautious accountant, only spending when it can hit the target. Max delivery is the opposite. Max delivery sees your budget and goes, okay, my job is to spend this, almost no matter what. Two, it maximizes total GMV, not efficiency. Total volume, total orders, total revenue. The optimization function is fundamentally different. Target ROI is trying to maximize efficiency per dollar. Max delivery is trying to maximize dollars total. Three, it stops protecting ROI. This is the part what scares people, and it should scare people who have not done the prep work. Because if your underlying inputs are not ready, max delivery will absolutely run your ROI into the ground. It is a scaling engine, not a protection engine. So don't expect it to protect you. That's not its job. When should you use max delivery? Four conditions, and here is the important part. All four, not three out of four, four out of four. One, your product is already converting. You have proof of demand, people are buying, reorder rate is decent, reviews are coming in positive, the product works. If you are not sure about this one, you are not ready for max delivery. Two, your creatives are already working. You have winning ads, not one ad, multiple ads. You have evidence that the creative side of your account is producing scalable inventory. Not just this ad did okay for 3 days, sustained performance across multiple creatives. Three, you want more volume, not more efficiency. You have made the strategic decision that growth is the priority right now, not profit margin per order. Growth. You are willing to trade ROI for GMV. Four, you can afford a fluctuating ROI. This is the offer economics check from chapter 2. Your margins and AOV are strong enough that you can absorb some volatility. If your margins are tight, this one disqualifies you. Max delivery is not for brands with tight margins, it is for brands with room to breathe. All four, not three out of four. If you cannot honestly check all four boxes, stay in target ROI. Build the missing condition first, then come back. Here is the inverse. When is max delivery the wrong call? Four red flags. One, weak product. If your product doesn't have demand, max delivery is going to spend your money pushing it to people who don't want it. You are not going to create demand by spending harder. You are just going to waste money faster. Two, mediocre creatives. If your ads are not winning yet, max delivery is going to deploy spend against losing ads because max delivery doesn't filter for creative quality the way target ROI does. It just spends. If the ad is not working, it will spend on the not working ad and you will watch your money disappear in real time. Three, unstable CVR. If your conversion rate is bouncing all over the place, like one day it's 3%, the next day it's 0.8%, that's a signal that your funnel is not stable. Could be product issue, could be uh, learning experience issue, could be timing issue. Either way, you don't want to amplify instability. Max delivery will amplify it. Four, tight margins. If you don't have room for ROI to drop, you don't have room for max delivery, period. Max delivery will push your ROI down. That's the design. If your margin math fails apart at 1.5x ROI, don't turn it on. Max delivery magnifies whatever is happening in your account. If good things are happening, it magnifies the good things. If broken things are happening, it magnifies the broken. Honest assessment first, then decide. Okay, let's say you have checked all four boxes, you are ready. You are turning max delivery on. So now what? The scaling rule 20 to 30% budget increases per day, maximum. That's the ceiling. Anything bigger than that shocks the algorithm and you will feel it. So let's say you are at $500 a day and max delivery is performing. You want to scale. The right move is 500 to $650 the next day. Then 655 to 800, then 800 to 1000 gradually, steady. The algorithm gets time to absorb each step. The wrong move is $500 to $2,000 overnight because you got excited about the early results. That's a 4x jump in one day. The algorithm freaks out. It cannot adjust that fast. So conversion quality drops because the algorithm is suddenly bidding on auctions it was not prepared to bid on. The whole campaign destabilizes. So I know this is gonna feel slow when you see a campaign performing well. Every instinct in your body is gonna say more, 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 scale faster. But you don't have to. The algorithm punishes shocks. So the brands that scale fastest on max delivery are paradoxically the ones who scale most gradually because they never destabilize the learning. They just keep climbing the ladder smoothly. 20 to 30% a day, max. Write it down somewhere. What actually happens when you scale max delivery too fast? Four things, and they all happens at once. One, learning resets. The algorithm has built up a model of which auctions to bid on, which users to chase, what time of day works best. A huge budget jump invalidates a lot of that model. The algorithm essentially has to start relearning at the new spend level. Two, CPM spike. When you suddenly increase budget, the algorithm has to find way more auctions to bid in. To do that fast, it bids higher and broader. CPM goes up. So you are paying more per impression to get the volume you suddenly demanded. Three, conversion quality drops because the algorithm is now bidding into broader, less qualified inventory to deploy the budget. The users seeing your ads are lower quality on average, so lower intent, lower likelihood to convert, so CVR drops. Four, ROI collapses. CPMs up plus CVR down equals ROI down. Fast. You jumped budget hoping for more volume. You got the volume, but the unit economics fell apart in the process. So now you are losing money on every order. This is the death spiral. People panic at this point, slash the budget back down. The algorithm gets shocked again, going the other direction, and the campaign is essentially ruined for the next week. All because one impatient budget move. So here is the danger nobody talks about. The biggest one, max delivery will spend on dying ads. In target ROI mode, when an ad starts underperforming, the algorithm naturally bids less on it because the predicted ROI drops below your target. Target ROI essentially self protects, it pulls spend away from losers automatically. Max Delivery doesn't do that. Max Delivery's job is to spend the budget. If you have got 10 ads in rotation and 7 of them are dying, Max Delivery will keep allocating spend to the dying ones because, the budget needs to deploy somewhere. It's not selective the way target ROI is. So in Max Delivery, you have to kill losers manually. You cannot just trust the algorithm to filter them out. You need to be in the dashboard looking at creative level performance, killing the underperformers, and feeding the winners. So this is why operators who use max delivery successfully spend more time in the account than operators who use target ROI. Target ROI is more passive. Max delivery requires hand on the wheel. If you set it and forget it on max delivery, your dying creatives are eating your budget while you sleep. Last thing, the transition. How do you actually move from target ROI to max delivery the right way? Three steps. Step one, validate winners in target ROI first. Target ROI is your testing ground. It is lower risk, more control. Use target ROI to figure out which creatives win, which products convert, which offers work. Get real signal before you move to max delivery. Step two, build creative depth. Once you have winners, produce variations, multiple versions of the winning angle, different hooks, creator edits. By the time you turn on max delivery, you should have a deep enough creative library that you can sustain volume without burning through your library in 3 days. Step 3. Then switch to max delivery for scale with validated winners and creative depth in place. Max delivery becomes the amplifier it is supposed to be. You are not gambling, you are scaling a proven system. So if you skip step 1 and you are scaling unknown variables, skip step 2 and your account dies the second your hero creative takes. Skip step 3 and you are stuck at the target ROI setting forever. So validate, deepen, scale, that's the order.